Ishwari.
Hi, Mr. Kunal. How are you?
All well, perfectly fine. How are you?
I'm good too. Thank you for asking.
Wonderful. So, Ishwari, I'm very surprised there because I've never met a person who knows way too many languages. So, can you tell our viewers how many languages you know?
Oh, so I speak 11 languages, out of which I teach 9.
Wow. And Ishwari, which planet are you from?
I am from India and the planet is Earth.
I doubt because 11 languages is insane. 11 languages. Wow. So what motivated you and who motivated you, Ishwari? First of all, I'm very curious to know that before I can ask the questions which our audience have asked.
So I was a voracious reader. I still am, and I just really wanted to read the authors in their original languages. So that's what
Okay.
motivated me originally.
Okay, so first of all, you read a lot. That's good enough.
I do.
Secondly, you read English. That's very good. But you went beyond English and checked out authors in other languages. That too, way too many.
Thank you. It started off
And
as
where
an
where
interest.
where do you get that motivation? First of all, Ishwari, who's that
Uh,
motivational figure for you?
So originally, I wanted to read Dostoevsky in Russian. So it started from
Okay.
there. Then I realized there are way too many authors. Like there's Antoine de Saint-Exupéry. So I learned French. So each author motivated me to read him in the original language. That's how it started.
Wow. And what difference you felt when you read that particular author in English vis-a-vis the original language?
So I realized the words have far more essence when you read it the way it was meant to be read in its original form.
Okay. Okay.
Translations
So
lose a bit of essence.
right, that totally makes sense. That totally makes sense because in translation, generally, that feel, that energy, that the aura of that word, that generally goes away. So I think you're very right. I can feel that a lot of times when I try to speak a sentence in Hindi, it has much more impact when I speak in English.
It really does.
Wonderful. So, Ishwari, while you have learned so many languages and you are so multi-talented, I might say, and I would say, so how much money do you make in a year?
So last year it was significantly less. This year my earning so far has been 22 lakhs and it's counting because we are still left with 1 month.
Wow, wow. And are you yourself satisfied with this kind of money you make?
I am. I'm still 22, right? So I have a lot of
Oh,
scope. I have a
wonderful. So
lot of more
basically,
years to
so
improve.
every year as you grow up, you want a lakh to add up. So 22 years old, 22 lakh.
Yes, that is my original aim.
Great. I'm sure this will be much more. Your income levels will surpass your age by multifold in the next few years because I've never seen uh, such an overly talented person before.
Thank you.
So, few questions we have got from our audience here, Ishwari. While I mentioned our viewers that there is an alien who's going to come to our podcast, we got a lot of questions. So,
Okay.
which language do you suggest someone to learn if they're confused? And in India, they have options of learning so many languages. So, which one do you suggest?
So I would suggest start with French or Spanish.
Okay.
Either one is fine because both these options offer a plethora of job opportunities and there is a lot of growth as well.
And if someone wants to learn two languages, then which are the top two languages you suggest? Is it French and Spanish only, or something else as well?
If you would like to learn two, I would suggest French and German. But it also depends on what background, what educational background do you have.
Okay, since a lot of people aspire to be engineers and they end up being an engineer, and however they don't work as an engineer as also, like me myself. So what do you suggest to those idiots like me?
I wouldn't call them idiots, but I would suggest start with German if you come from a technical background, because German itself is a technical language.
Right, makes sense, makes sense. And how difficult is it to learn German, Ishwari?
It depends from person to person, but the grammar rules are a bit similar to English. So I think you would be good to go. And pronunciation is also far easier as compared to other European languages for German.
German is easier, you mean to say, the pronunciation.
Pronunciation wise, yes.
Great, wonderful. And if I compare uh, French and Spanish, pronunciation wise, which is better? Like, which is
Spanish is
easier?
far better because Spanish is a bit like English. What is written, you pronounce it as it is. French, there are a lot of silent words, nauseatic sounds, phonology is different. So, Spanish. Compared to French, Spanish is far easier.
And if we compare Spanish with Portuguese, and since I know that you know Portuguese also, so what do you say? Which is easier to learn, Spanish or Portuguese?
Again, Spanish, because Portuguese
Okay.
also has a lot of exceptions. There are far more vocabulary nuances, and the phonology is a bit different. Spanish, pronunciation wise and vocabulary wise, is easier.
Okay. And is Spanish having similarities with any language?
Spanish has similarities with English if you compare it with pronunciation, and grammar wise, also, the rules are very similar.
Okay. And if you compare Italian with French, Spanish, and Portuguese, will you count it to be the toughest, or like where do you rank Italian?
With respect to difficulty or with respect to the job opportunities that lie?
Difficulty, I would say, the first, because that's the question I've received.
So I would rate it as second. French
Okay,
is
which is the more
far more
difficult of all of
tougher
these four?
than Italian.
Which is more difficult than Italian?
French is more difficult than Italian.
Oh, French is more
Yes.
difficult than Italian.
Yes, it is pronunciation
Wow,
wise.
this means even French is difficult in Spanish and Portuguese, both of them as well.
Yes. The
I wonder why
pronunciations
so
are
many people in
far
India learn
different
French,
than what.
man. Because French is taught in so many schools. In fact, during my days with DPS, we had majority sections learning French, and I was learning Sanskrit at that point of time. And I'm very proud of Sanskrit, but I was kind of very jealous to see so many sections, so many people aspiring to learn French, and German used to be like half a section only. There was no Spanish, there was no other language.
French is a bit difficult, yes, as
So,
compared to
what are
other
job
Roman
opportunities are there? What are job opportunities are there if someone learns French?
languages. So you can be a teacher, you could be a
Mhm.
translator, you could be an interpreter, you could be a travel agent, you could be a guide, you could be a proofreader. The opportunities are limitless. There are far, far
Wonderful.
many.
And what do you do for living yourself, Ishwari?
So I teach French and other languages. As I said, I teach 9 languages. I translate, and recently I've opened my horizons to interpretation and proofreading.
Wow. So, which profile of yours consume most of your time?
So teaching has most number of openings currently because a lot of schools have introduced French. A lot of preschools or even daycares have introduced French, and it is increasing day by day. It is expanding every single day. So teaching is something I would recommend.
Wonderful. That's brilliant. Okay, so how many years of experience do you have, Ishwari, in teaching yourself?
I started at 17, so this is currently my fifth year.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. You are a young genius. I think I'm not saying
Thank you.
anything wrong when I call you an alien, because your deeds are exceptional. You make me remind of Elon Musk.
Oh, thank you so much. That is indeed a really great compliment. Thank you.
Great. So I think most of the questions I have asked from the viewers' side. However, one question that I'm curious to ask you is, Ishwari, what is your X factor? What differentiates you from other French-speaking people in India?
I would say my exposure, because I've lived in France for a year as a teaching assistant. I've been there for an exchange program. Not just France, I've been to Spain as well. I've been to Germany for similar experiences. So, my experience, my exposure to the language with natives, cultural impacts is something I would say is my X factor.
Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. I think that really makes sense because exposure that to the European countries very much resonates with that aspiration of learning languages. So it was my pleasure, Ishwari, to have you on board on this channel, and I wish you all the very best. May God bless you with so many more languages more to learn, and uh, and continue being an inspiration for a lot of language learners who wish to be as alien as possible, like you are.
Thank you so much. That really means a lot to me. I really hope I live up
Wonderful.
to it.
Oh, wonderful. You would definitely, and I wish you all the very best for your life and your career. Take care. Sayonara.
You too.
Bye.
Sayonara. Merci. Bye bye. Thank you.